How you doing, guys? Big Mate Danskull here today, back once again with another Orc video for you. This is slightly different to last week, so I'm not going to be showing you anything. Well, I am, it's going to pop up behind me here. But this video has been prompted by a question that 6+Stevo asked in the comments last week. Will we see a Warhammer Thoughty K video again in the future? Now, I'll pop a link in the description below to my Warhammer Thoughty K series. It was basically one of those videos where I talk about a subject related to wargaming. So it could be something to do with collecting, it could be something to do with the miniatures, it could be something to do with new releases, or just the hobby in general. But this video is combining orcs with that. So instead of Warhammer Thoughty K, it's Warhammer Thoughty K. Let's crack on, shall we? Up on the screen behind me, you can see my channel logo, and that's something that the Nerd Life, Richard from the Nerd Life, I don't actually know what his channel's called now, if it's still the Nerd Life, but yeah, that's something he designed for me. He's a fantastic artist. It's supposed to represent me as an orc on the battlefield kind of thing, so it's Big Mate Danskull. Now, I started even before I got I commissioned Richard to do that bit of work for me. I basically started building a miniature for myself as Big Mech Danskull, and I was going to do it as a mega armoured Big Mech with custom force field and certain weapons. But since then, I just put that project on hold, like I do with most of my projects, for a long time. But I've gone back to it, and I've approached it from a different angle, so it's not going to be necessarily, I could play it as such because it looks quite up armoured, but it's not necessarily going to be a Big Mech in mega armour. It could just be a standard Big Mech, and I plan on using a custom force field with him, so it could be standard Big Mech with custom force field, which at the minute in the latest rules can only take a chopper and shooter. But I don't necessarily just want a chopper and shooter, so that's why I'm open to the idea of playing him as a Big Mech in mega armour. So the point of this video, the topic of this video, is to don't let things limit you. Now, it's things like, could be things like rules, but it could also be things like, if you've got an idea in your head and you like that idea, maybe stick with the idea. Now, there's an image now on the screen behind me, there should be anyway if I've timed it right, on the screen behind me, of two possible ways that I could go with this Big Mech miniature. And one has a bionic arm with like a power stabber, comes from the Flash Kits kit, and the other one has the classic power claw. I'll change it slightly to look a bit more like my channel artwork, the power claw that is. But yeah, I just wanted to gauge opinion in the community of what people thought was best. Now, a vast majority of people have gone for the power claw. They just think it looks better. I just did it as a simple poll on the Warhammer Thoughty K orc community on Facebook. Make sure you check it out if you're not a member in. If you're not a member in there, just feel free to search for it on Facebook and join. I'll try and remember to put a link in the description below as well. Yeah, so I did a poll on there, and everybody on that Facebook page said the claw was better. But I really like this power stabber. For some reason, I don't know what it is. But I also shared it on my Instagram, big_mech_Danskull on Instagram. If you just search for Big Mech Danskull, I'll probably have a link in the description below. Anyway, let's crack on. So I also shared it on my Instagram, and it's about 50-50 over on Instagram instead of 100% in favour of the power claw. I think some people think the chopper hand looks too small, too weedy, and it should do really, because the bulk of this miniature is made, or not the bulk of it, but the torso of this miniature at least, is from a war boss. It's from the Gruk Face Ripper, what was Gruk Face Ripper miniature. And yeah, so the torso is quite big and muscular, and the arm with the power stabber on looks a little bit weedy. But what I like about the arm with the power stabber on, it's bionics, but it's not a power claw. It's not your typical orc power claw. So it's a power fist instead of a power claw. It's a bionic arm basically. You see them on Marines more than you see them on orcs. But because Big Mac Danskull is quite a technically minded orc, he's more likely to have something as intricate as a bionic arm than necessarily a power claw. However, the artwork has a power claw. So, because I like the power stabber arm though, I'm open to the possibility of finding a way to bulk it up to make it look bigger. And I've started doing that, you'll see on the screen behind me here. So I've taken an arm from an Ogrin or a Bullgrin. I bought it off Bitsbox ages ago. And that's where the gun arm comes from as well, from an Ogrin or a Bullgrin, I'm not sure which. And yeah, what I'm going to do is cut just below the elbow on the power stabber holding arm and attach that to the Bullgrin arm there, so it looks like it's just sort of a long forearm, but it'll look okay, I think. And also it gives it the bulk up at the shoulder there that it was missing with just the Flashkit's arm basically. Also though, the chopper, I got a comment over on Instagram saying the chopper looked too small. So the power stabber or chopper, whatever you want to call it, it looked too small. So I figured I'd just try and make a bigger one with a bit of plasticard, and I've started doing that, and I think it's going to look a little bit better. I was tempted to use the chopper in his right hand and a shooter, or a slugger rather, from the Boss Zagstruck miniature, which is the Storm Boys. He's like the war boss with a jump pack basically. So I was tempted to use the arms from that, but they just don't quite look the right size. To me, his fist looks way too big holding the chopper. I really like the chopper, but his fist just looks too big holding that chopper. And the arm, his left arm, looks too small. So I can't really, I can't bring myself to use just those arms, and also the metal. The ones I've got are metal, so they're not going to be any good on a plastic miniature, and especially because some of the joins in this miniature, because I've converted it so much, I've taken legs from Tau, I'm using milliput, I'm using bits from the Gruck Face Ripper kit, I'm using so many different components that I'm a bit worried if I put too much weight up the top of it, it'll just put pressure on it and then all the joins will sort of crack apart. So yeah, but the purpose of this video is to say, the reason it's like a Warhammer Thoughty K video is to basically say, if you've got an idea and you like the idea, feel free to run with it. Just because somebody tells you don't do that idea or they prefer it a different way doesn't mean that's the right way to do it. But also, just because of the in-game rules, like I said near the start of the video, doesn't mean you should build a model the way they say. Now, if you're going to be playing in tournaments and stuff like that, then of course it's better to be WYSIWYG, but I'm not really too bothered about being WYSIWYG. I just really like the power stabber arm. Yeah, but like I said, I'm probably going to find a way to magnetise this miniature. I'll probably magnetise him around the left shoulder, and I'll just go with the single option on the right hand side, but the left hand side I'll give him the stabber option and the claw option, because I really like it. For some reason, I don't know why, I just like the look of it. It's like he's a swashbuckling orc, and I've always liked the idea of Flashkits and freebooters and you know, the sort of pirate theme. I was watching a Dreadwar gaming video just before this actually, where he was mentioning that freebooters aren't simply space pirates, but they've got a flavour of space pirates, and I really like that flavour myself. But you can go over the top with that theme. But for me, the way GW present it is really good. So yes, that's. I'm just rambling now, so that's about all I've got for you on this week's Orc video. Let me know what you think of the two options I've got. I'll put them back up now. if I remember. The two options I've got. So do you like the chopper arm? Do you think it's too small? Do you think if I bulk it up it will look nice? The power claw arm, it's for that miniature anyway. The torso is from Gruk Face Ripper, and the power claw is from Gruk Face Ripper as well. So that's why the power claw looks just fits into place really nicely. I'm going to change it slightly so it's more like a traditional claw, but with a razor in the middle of it as well. Yes, we'll leave it there for now. Thanks very much for watching. If you'd like to support the channel in any way, monetarily I mean, not in any way, then feel free to check out the link in the description below to my Patreon. You can support me at 3 different tiers. One is a $1 tier, one is a $5 tier, and one is a $12 tier. The money goes into the channel, into making Mortal Realms videos, plus more. Yeah, we'll leave it there for now, like I said. Hopefully, another Rogue video for you next week, and I'll see you on the battlefield.